about after Champion Select. That would just totally reshape the game.
I
don't know how
like
you'd pull it
that.
off technically, but...
Yeah, I saw Zale tweeting about that earlier. I actually would not like that. I've played against teams when you could sub after Champ Select, and old TSM would bring in Dyrus, we'd ban Jax, and Dyrus would leave Champ Select, and also show up and be like, well, thanks for getting Jax. And it felt terrible.
It's a highly debated topic, and I know the teams do not like it. I just think it'll be cool. Anyway, we're so far away from that.
Yes, we are.
Omar God is in, and he can play any of the champions, and no matter which champion they pick him, he's in for this game.
He is going to be in for the game. Aurelion Sol and Galio off the table so far. Team Dignitas removing who he's winged options this game. Caitlyn red side ban, Zach red side ban continuing. LeBlanc off the table for Team Dignitas as well. So pretty standard fare that these teams considered. We'll see what CLG does for the last one. Last time around, they banned Cassiopeia with the last ban. They also had an Elise ban that they had done before, and that's going to be the one they keep. So Cassiopeia available if Keen wants it. Dignitas would rather play Kalista once again.
Well, they do not get to know that Altec picked player of the game, but they sensed it, that his Kalista was really good and really important to have. And they also don't want Stixay to be able to have it. Stixay had a 10-0-11 Kalista game just last night against Echofox, so I think that's a very worthy first pick.
Definitely strong things here. We'll see what comes in next. Looks like both these teams were considering connecting line picks there. Greg is going to be the first grab for CLG, much like the last game. They've got one more choice for themselves. Going to figure out over time what Omar God's champ pool is. Of course, he did play in the Challenger Series on CLG Academy and played a bunch of Olaf and Gragas himself. Those are his two most played, so certainly he's going to feel comfortable on this Gragas, and instead they're going to go for Tristana, which generally I feel like is considered a strong pick into Kalista in the general sense, and I think a very strong champion with Caitlyn banned in general right now.
Yep, it's the next best turret killer. Kills turrets faster. It's just a matter of getting there. And as you mentioned, just stacking up the bomb against Kalista can be very effective. So the thing that was banned last game actually locked in early. Shrimp going with Nunu.
I like it. So Nunu in there, certainly very, very, very strong at 713. Better with Cinderhulk, does a lot of damage. We're actually going to be continually the blind pick here for Team Dignitas. We'll see if CLG goes for the same Gnar as they did before. But yeah, I mean, Dignitas saw, hey, CLG's willing to ban Gnar. Okay, we need to grab it earlier this time.
Yeah, and that's... I'm also interested that they actually early picked the Renekton with Gnar still on the table, because I think CLG can just pick that right now, and I think that's an advantage matchup for the Gnar.
Right, when you could like pick the Thresh that went so well last game, for example.
Kind of, yeah. So I'm actually fairly perplexed by that stage of the Team Dignitas draft phase, unless someday just said, I'll be fine, they camped me, that's why I lost. Could be the argument for him. But yeah, the Nunu is so much about early game invading. If you're up against something like Lee Sin, the worry here for the Nunu is that COD hadn't locked in their jungler, but now they essentially have against the Gragas, and I think that's a pretty good matchup into Gragas. Gragas isn't the fastest clearing jungler, has a hard time actually killing Nunu, generally allows Nunu to go where he wants.
Yep. And here we are in a game with matched roles here. Supports and mid laners left up on both sides. CLG getting first dibs. And you'd have to imagine Thresh is very likely to be high priority. I think it's valuable. They had picked it in the first phase of yesterday's match. They grabbed a pretty early Thresh, I do believe, for Aftermoon earlier on. The Vel'Koz ban continues. The Team Dignitas keep their target bans going. And CLG throwing bans at Adrian to see what he might play if Thresh is gone. Still where my money lies, but still waiting to be seen. Syndra, of course, is also up and valuable.
Yeah, now we wonder if the Thresh is actually going to be banned by Team Dignitas, since Aftermoon would potentially take it right away. The other option will be taking Syndra right away, with some of the other matchups being banned out. And with the Vladimir ban, they're trying to force CLG into Syndra, because Vladimir is who he's picked against it.
Interesting things to decide. And they said, yep, we don't want to give you the chance to play Syndra yourselves. We'll leave you the supports up. And it's an interesting, very interesting mind game. If they could probably go back in the Soraka ban, they would, but there's no way to do that, of course. This is how the pick orders work and whatnot. And a nice little gambit there by Dignitas.
Yeah, and I think it paid off as long as Keen has a pick now. He needs to have a pick into Syndra. And currently, I don't actually feel like there are many. A lot of people say it would be Fizz or Echo, but we haven't seen that lately because a lot of teams either aren't comfortable enough playing the 1-3-1 or the Syndras have just gotten better at that matchup. And then you have other stuff like Corki, which farms out, and Orianna typically is seen as not that great in a Syndra. Syndra seems better than it, so essentially, they just want Keen's Orianna for the team fight more so than for the lane.
Looking at various champions here, Thresh and Tahm Kench make the most sense. Thresh is the grab. Tahm Kench himself is very good into Syndra to devour someone out of the Unleashed Power ultimate, but Thresh, pound for pound, considered the best pick in the support role and is going to be grabbed up here. So same bot lane for Team Dignitas.
Yeah, same top lane as well. Just switching around the mid lane and jungle, and the band that was through last time, which potentially enabled his Thresh a little bit more, Morgana, is on the board for CLG.
There's the lock.
And the timer has hit 0, so that means it's Morgana.
All right, Morgana, Trist in the bot lane certainly can be very powerful. I like this duo for a lot of reasons. I think one for one, both the bot lane carries and supports match up well in CLG's favor. I think the 2-on-2 also looks good because you have a hyper carry with a black shield on it, which means it's very hard to stop with a snowball. Oftentimes Shockwave won't catch it and things like this. So I think there's a lot of power in this CLG bot lane now. And if I'm CLG and I'm Tony telling them what to do in champs, like, it's like, guys, if you focus on bot lane, if you win there, 6A can 1v9 and win the game for you. And, you know, we'll see if that ends up being the focus. Team Dignitas, of course, had won through everything but top lane in the previous. We'll see if CLG can stop that.
Yeah, and also one extra thing is a lot of times Nunu can just be oppressive to marksman in the late game, but if you black shield the guy, then the negative status effects of the Ice Blast or the ultimate aren't going to go through.
Yeah, you're literally immune to the channeling effect on Absolute Zero. It has to actually break the shield first, so surely some power is available here. Coaches shake hands. Two people who have known each other for a very long time. Zix and Cop have been in the scene for quite a while on CLG and Team Dignitas respectively. Once again, lineups on your screen, and it's going to be time to get into the game. CLG hoping to get back after that game one loss that Team Dignitas honestly just won almost all their lanes in and just kind of snowballed over. CLG going to hope for some top lane pressure or something else this time.
Yeah, and it's so apparent how hard Team Dignitas went at Huhi.
5.
You could say every single one of those bans can be a mid lane ban. The Galio is something that CLG has been playing top lane as well, but that is a heavy hit to Huhi's champion pool. So I really want to see if he can succeed on this Syndra, since that was almost all of Team Dignitas' ban strategy was trying to keep Huhi down.
Let's see if they can do that here. Huhi on the Syndra. It's almost ironic when you say, yeah, we try to keep him down in bans, so he played Syndra this game. I know it was the same thought with the Corki. It's like, wow, we gave him 5 bans and he played Corki. That's atypical, but this is the world you live in. It's truly counter logic. This is how Huhi works with this one. So I think some smart choices here. I want to point out Ancient Coin is definitely like the best support item right now. So after, even though you traditionally consider Morgana a big Spell Thieves user, Ancient Coin is just so much more gold income. It's a lot of power, and I think it's the right choice.
Yeah, I think so too. So just the absolute amount of money you get. Is this the patch where the passive is changed for it as well?
That's
it no longer
14.
has a skill point. So still, I think a really fun payoff with the skill point as well, since Morgana has arguments for maxing any of the abilities. Very important to get your skill points up on Morg.
Yeah. Yeah, you have 2 skills where you really care about the skill points in. I think you will always max Dark Binding for the essentially infinite root duration, as the internet likes to say. But Black Shield is a very valuable level incentive as well, especially if you can get a break point where it won't break off of like a Thresh hook, so that he can't just instant flay. He has to auto attack you first, so that it won't break off an Ice Blast, or it won't break off a command attack, so that Shockwave will catch you. And there's very tight break points that actually matter a lot for Black Shield, so I agree. The skill point, very valuable. We are in the landing phase. Huhi this time not doing any hard leashes. It's going to be Oh My God on the bot side and Shrimp's Nunu on the top side. So both these teams going for blue buff. Adrian going to hope for a steal, unlikely to get one. Zoned out by the threat of a bind, and blue buffs for both these junglers.
Yeah, Altec already shoving that bottom lane though. So again, Altec and Adrian going to get that early level 2. We'll have to track where that sets up the junglers versus the bottom lane here. Remember, the 20 to 30 CS lead that Altec and Adrian accrued last game is something they're going to be looking to emulate.
See if they can do it. I think the CLG duo lane looks a little bit stronger in landing phase. It's close, and a couple minutes away. Looks like it's these couple more minutes to go until that actually comes through. Omar got right now on his Raptors. No huge issues for him. It looks like the Zoomer's already cleared out 3 full camps, so Omar got slightly behind in pace. With it level 3 eventually, though. And that was, of course, as you can see the start on the bottom, that was him on Olaf. But he had done very well. They had their best game of the FlyQuest series was with Omar God starting.
Yeah, I mean, that was where several members of the team were deathless, so can say he is yet to die in the North American LCS.
Yeah. Watch out, rookie to split Mike Young. Omar God's coming for you.
You have to have quite the performance at this point.
I agree. There's not a lot of Europeans to beat in the NALCS. He's got to beat TSM to make that one happen. We've got to see Afro taking a bit of damage there. A lot of javelins on him as well. And you can see Stixxay only able to really get 2 auto attacks off at a time right now, but we'll get a small chunk off on Altec.
Someday burned his flash up top lane as Omar God went to body slam into him, so at least Someday avoided the gank. But also is having Shrimp trying to solo the Infernal Drake while Someday is buying time up here. You can do this on Nunu with rank 2 consume. A lot of times you'll have to smite it like almost twice to stay alive, unless you get a helper like Adrian to come over, in which case it's an easy secure.
This shouldn't be a problem at all. So, quick pickup there in a sub 4-minute Infernal Drake. Feels good, man. Team Dignitas, objective control.
Yeah. So, if we're doing cheap math here, that was Renekton's flash for an Infernal Drake, which is generally a trade you're going to say worth 2. Now he's going to chomp down a Gromp, so Omar God, I feel like getting a little out-pathed here by Shrimp, even though Shrimp wasn't a complex path. He just full cleared and then ran to Infernal Drake, but it's confidence in Nunu to go for that. Now the question is, can he convert the kill? He's got to go right away. Does not. Spotted up by Ward.
And well, there's a chance at 6 Elemental Drakes for Team Dignitas as a result. It's pretty tight timing, but it's a possibility. 5 maybe more likely in this game, either way. Oh my god, looking for opponents to find, and that jungle is basically clear. There's nothing to counter jungle, so kind of sitting around waiting on his heals for the camps to respawn. And of course, neither of these squads did Raptors early, so those aren't going to be back up for a little while. Wolves just up now, the Gromp the same, but Nunu's going to grab that Gromp pretty quickly. There's a trade for Omar God getting Wolves, and they're just going to go back to their jungle paths right now. Quick Bomby Cinder, Shrimp can clear jungles pretty quick now.
Yeah, so talking a little bit more about Shrimp's path there, the Infernal Drake gives arguably little to no benefit at 4 minutes. It is a late game investment that you're making. So what Shrimp did is fairly high risk, even though it wouldn't seem that way, because he is in no part of that in that path did he attempt to gain vision of the enemy jungler or assist his lanes. So in those 4 minutes, the rest of Team Dignitas need to play neutral.
Insane hook, and who he is gone. What a hook out of Adrian. He deserves that first blood. That kill column goes right where it should.
Max range also then gets the ignite after he pulls him back in. That's huge. As Cinder was about to hit level 6 and try and gain lane advantage, just playing in the fog, who he cheats a little bit more towards the bot side than he should, since he had his jungler up in the top side, gets immediately punished.
Yeah, I think he thought he could outrange it. It was so close to just outranging the hook. Like, even though he saw him, it's debatable, because you could say, you know, you think you're away from the skill shot. Obviously, he did choose wrong there. He clearly was still in range, but I understand the choice.
Oh, man. That's quite big for Team Dignitas, because that is one of the lanes that CLG will want to win. If Nunu has winning lanes, Nunu can get a little bit more ridiculous. Also, on this patch, we mentioned the resurgence of Cinderhawk junglers. Part of that is the cheap access to Bomby Cinder, and how fast you can get that is 900 gold, clears the jungle really fast, and the AoE camps that Nunu may struggle with, even when he was still good, he no longer struggles with when he gets early access to that item.
Yep. Some will say it's big for Team Dignitas, but it was Adrian who made the hook land. Yeah, I know. It was lame, but I had to get it in there. It called to me.
Yeah, you get one.
Ah, thanks, man. 300 gold lead for Team Dignitas, actually. Worth pointing out, the overall farm this time around, it's inverted, though. It's Dignitas who have 600 gold worth of First Blood, and yet CLG are farming better overall as a squad. They've made up half that with their laning phases here, so if we have an inverted game and CLG ends up winning through bot lane themselves, as they're looking still down a bit in this bot lane, but see if they can find something for themselves. Good patience. They were able to dodge the hook, so Black Shield remains available.
Yeah. The main perplexing thing in this game still remains that Someday picked Renekton blind in Dinar, even though it was a losing matchup in game 1, and has no reason to be different in this game. I think Dinar just would have been better, but curious to see why Someday has done the Renekton, because if that matchup is inverted, then Team Dignitas is in absolute full control.
Yeah, I would agree with that one, but the way it is right now, gold lead shrinking continually as you've got an 18 almost minion lead right now for Darshan on the top side. Actually, really, without any gank assistance at all. Sorry, to be fair, no, he did. He got a flash force. He got something pushed out of the lane, so I'll take that one back. But still doing a very good job of the matchup. Finds himself a stun, and Someday does only minor damage in the matchup.
Yeah, the timing from Shrimp's Nunu, though.
Ooh, going to find damage, and Akeen flashing away. He's still going to go down. He gets the damage with the R button. Flash to chase lands it. Keen had shockwaved earlier on. What a pickup.
Yeah, that is a big swing for CLG. Also, Shrimp's Nunu has pretty much just been doing Nunu things, but not helping lanes whatsoever. So that's sometimes the danger of doing that hard farming. He steals red, but then now that his mid laner has fallen,
CLG does too.
Watch the solo kill one more time. Both mid laners picking up blue. Shockwave goes early for harass. The turret shot is huge, and he just says, okay, you're low.
If I land
Flash
W, you're dead.
QR.
Yep.
He doesn't even need to land the stun to get that kill.
Yeah. Threw it at him, and he did well. Now the flash snowball for Shrimp. Slaps him in the face. Here's a stun for Someday, and the kill comes through. Blue buff on Renekton.
Oh, man. That's convenient as he shoved out the wave, but had no control of the top side jungle where Shrimp had just been, so didn't actually have a side of the lane which was warded out.
Afro, does he have Black Shield? He does. Box Flay, and that hook dodge was important because Box plus Flay broke the Black Shield, but you can see what the strength is. He has to, Callisto does nothing. That's a great counter pick. And then an ultimate and an active ability finally breaks Black Shield, and it's, okay, dodge the one skill shot left.
Yeah, Black Shield does so much against this team composition. It's that combo as well as Nunu when they're in there, but here comes Mega.
Actually misses the hop on for damage, doesn't actually manage to trigger Hyper, but either way, forces somebody to flash, does not want to get chased down, so Darshan still getting his leads. Well done.
Yeah, Someday did pick up the kill, so it means the gold, I guess, to stay close. Just based off the CS, the kill doesn't even equalize the gold between the two.
Still 100 apart. Oh my god, finding an opponent here. Six are going to get a Black Shield. Auto attack, and not quite enough damage from Callisto W to actually break the Black Shield off of a Thresh auto attack. Now the ulti in for Afro just forces the Lantern out, though. And that is a trade that Dignitas are happy to trade with. Lantern for ulti feels good.
Yeah, Adrian and Altec playing that lane quite aggressively. Hello. Trying to block the body slam.
Very large people there. A nice play is going to land. The hook is in as well. Explosive cast not going to mean enough. Oh my god. Not long for the world, but Altec getting his first kill of the game.
And Infernal Drake number 2 is alive. 10 minutes and 30 seconds. They're going to be able to get that second one.
And they'll just keep stacking. If Team Dignitas can keep control of this game, Elder Dragon's going to be insane. Altec leaves early with a Ren to go get back into the bot lane. Hasn't recalled in a while. There's actually a lot more items on Stixxay. He's going to outrange the hook. Adrian hoped he would juke backwards. Of course, he didn't. He was going to outrange it regardless, so smart to walk in a straight line. Now Shrimp going to make sure that they can push out the bot lane and give a bad recall to Stixxay if they can help it.
Yeah, so things going to plan for Team Dignitas. I like what Shrimp has done in the early game, but I need to continue to point out how it's the laners playing around that, because Shrimp is very rarely going to lanes or having an influence over them. So most of these guys are on their own, and that's what's allowed the Nunu to pick up the Infernal Drake. Now, he actually has rushed a Kindle Gem before Boots, which I really don't like, because I feel like the mobility on Nunu is very, very important. He's going to be okay with Blood Boil in his mind, but pretty odd.
Just getting a lot of health, so he's going to be very tanky. 2,000 health at 11.5 minutes. He's going to grab a pretty quick Rift Herald as well. I mean, a lot of priority on these neutral objectives. Darshan's going to spot it out.
Hello, friends. But there's more Team Dignitas people here. They're okay actually forcing a fight around this.
A bunch of big burly dudes. Adrian's suddenly here as well. Hook on Omar God. He is certainly going to lose his life, but first it's going to be Red Team. It's actually a pickup on the Rift Herald. Nice pickup right there. They get something at least for it. Now, can they get on the marker?
He wants it so bad.
Black Shield stops the Shockwave, cancels out entirely. Going to be an easy pickup now for this one. They're going to push down Shrimp. They're going to find themselves a root, a bit of damage there. They got to watch out, though, because here comes Renekton. Ulti on, but Exhaust blocks out a lot of the damage. It's going to be a quick pickup there. Darshan actually able to grab the mark at least, but 2 for 0 in kills. Team Dignitas grabbing a couple.
And first turret's going to go to Altec because he didn't even rotate down. So, yes, the Rift Herald goes over, but that is a small price to pay for Team Dignitas as they continue to go and make plays. Adrian out of mana, but he has a friend.
Dignitas on and Afro has a flash. He's going to get away a little bit. A couple more shots will do him in. And he is going to get away, so at least an escape for Afro means something. But still, it is CLG hemorrhaging almost everything across this map.
Yeah, a bait at Rift Herald by Team Dignitas. Rift Herald in itself does not do very much damage, so trying to contest teams doing it, you have to be ready to fight, and Adrian had roamed. So as the Gragas jumps in, Team Dignitas just activate the fight right away. Omar God loses all of his health right off the bat, and then CLG is able to essentially match the roam. Black Shield blocking Shockwave was pretty big, but the fight is still going right over to Team Dignitas. Shrimp is too tanky. Remember, no boots, Kindle Gem. And here's Darshan, though.
Ooh, he's going to have the damage. 2 more idols will do it. Oh, he's got to watch out for the turret. He can't get it. He hopped too far. He bounced off his head, and he's just gone. Unlucky. I thought Darshan had it, but he goes down instead. Altek getting a second kill, and Sumda getting away with it.
And that is a bit of an act of desperation from Darshan. Everyone else is losing. This is what happened last game. I need to carry as the Gnar and get ahead. So he goes for a 1v1 turret dive with absolutely no vision. Yes, he probably could have landed the boomerang and secured it, but even then, it's going to trade a 1-for-1.
Well, CLG making the best they can, but Someday actually willing to go on the 1v2, find himself a quick stun and a stick say good damage there. Explosive Grab's going to mean some, but look how aggressive he's happy to play. Going to pop the ult, but here comes TP from Moore as it's going to be Darshan showing up for the 3v1. Top lane outer already gone. Watch that stick say, summoner heal, and he barely lives. That was a close one. Does survive at all. It's going to be a trade of bot lane turret then.
Yeah, how far does this play go? Because he burned a lot of summoner spells and burned a lot of time while there were 3 people pushing for Team Dignitas on the top side. So willing to try to sacrifice himself.
Might just find Keen. It's close, but he's going to get away with it. Nice shockwave gets rid of the minions. And who are you going to pull aggro? He's down at about 100 HP. Going to cut away. Top lane 2-2 going to fall, so Team Dignitas able to get 2 turrets there. It's the 1 kill for 0.
Herald, though.
And yeah, the Herald's going to mean it's 2 turrets for 2 overall, which is exactly what we expected on the play. And with the recalls coming in, that shouldn't be much more. So it ends up being a slightly positive CLG play by going up a kill, if you don't count the Darshan death from earlier.
Yeah, I agree there. Someday could have just backed away, saved his life, and then prevented the second turret. So extra gold coming through. Who he has both summoners.
Gonna pop Ghost. There's a snowball, which means no way out. Gonna land a nice stun though. Satchel is there. Doesn't even need it. Well played actually. Huhi getting a big stun and only losing Ghost for Shrimp's flash.
Yeah, really hard to run out of Syndra. So Shrimp got the slow, but could not get anything beyond that. Looks like he's going Knight's Vow second item, which would be very good for popping onto Altek. Also, Shrimp, it looked like the snowball didn't do much because it's a 1-point wonder for him right now in this game. He's going to be maxing Blood Boil second from the looks of it.
Yeah.
So full on trying to buff up Altek, who is accruing a lot of the farm. Also got solo first turret gold and 2 of the kills. Going to be a very strong mid-game Callista.
Absolutely. What's nice is there actually are several reasonably good Blood Boil targets. Someday's not too bad at it either. He is going for that same build as before, which is Black Cleaver into full tank, which I think is, again, he doesn't have any lane priority, so he just wants to be a frontliner for the squad. Even though they have Nunu and Thresh, so I guess it's debatable, but either way, he's still going to be a reasonable damage threat. There's the flash flood. They're going to find after move. Black Shield popped now, puts the ulti in. Here comes the lantern. They found Altek as well. Omar got going to buy a bit of time. Explosive cast plus the 2 stuns. Looking to kill off Altek now. The body slam flash going to be there. Do they have the damage to kill off Altek, though? He's down to 500 HP. The explosive, and they're going to get 1 kill picked up, but it's going to be a trade 2 for 1 in favor of Team Dignitas. And now the chase onto Omar God's Gragas. Okay, to get away from Adrian and Shrimp. Nice play, gets him out of the body slam. Actually perfect there. Shotgun's gonna miss. Omar God buying a lot of time. Mid lane gonna push in, but he will die. And we instead look to the mid and bottom lanes as CLG gonna push in for mid lane tier 1, and Narsha gonna wave down there.
Yeah, a big play by Team Dignitas. A totally unnecessary shockwave attempt by Keen there. Didn't even need to expend the cooldowns to secure that kill. But still a good bait fight once again. It's a 3 versus 2. So the fact that they actually get the kill onto Altek, props to them. Omar God arrives late. Aframu gets a lot of damage on him, sticks a good target selection directly onto Altek, and they secure that. But then the kills go right through. Yeah, their kills onto Nunu and Thresh, but they're still going to be building items which buff the Callista. So you're still giving effectiveness to the Callista eventually. With Shockwave, as Omar God buys a lot of time, but still a 3-4-1.
Down here onto this one, you can see a very large lead now. 3,500 gold plus the double Drakes. Mountain has spawned now at the 17-minute mark, so more can be added, but it also means now that we're at 17, we can't have that 6 Drake game, I believe. Either way, there's going to be a lot of damage now onto this Nunu. Taking a whole bunch of chunks into him. A nice stun. Shotgun's going to catch a little bit on Omar God. They can't quite kill off Shrimp, though. Now onto the back line, 6, they force to run away, and Sunday just kills him regardless where he stands. Large, I'm not getting him far enough, and now it's a hook, and it's going to be a kill off a rampage for Adrian. The kill leader in the game is the Thresh. He can do no wrong as the chase continues into this one. Finally, a kill through to Counter Logic Gaming. They've knocked down Someday, but at what cost? They've already killed off 3.
Adrian, you're trolling. 4-0-7 on... It's the best kind of troll.
That is not trolling.
It's the best kind of troll, and you have nearly 100% kill participation, but 4 kills on the Thresh. He's getting a lot of last hits. That was another big-time fight for Team Dignitas. Shrimp, the fact that he didn't die is a little absurd. You get to see how tanky Nunu gets quickly, especially if you're ahead of the curve in the game. So I mean, last game it was kind of about CLG sticking around. This game, it's not feeling like that. This is Team Dignitas forcing more plays, getting more successes, and opening up a much larger lead.
And they're crushing this game right now. It's almost all you can do to say it's pretty much theirs to win at this point. Maybe a 2-0 for Team Dignitas to turn their season around finally. Maybe have a good run towards the end of Summer Split to make it towards playoffs. You can see that fight again.
Yeah, Darshan is about to mega in the jungle. He says, I'm going to pick someone off.
But to ult the Nunu.
Yeah, ult's right in. I mean, they were trying to CC chain him before the fight, but when they burn that much on Nunu and don't get the kill, it's trouble. Someday then goes and tries to 1v3 on the backside. He ends up over chasing, but we're going to focus on the other side where Altec is just kind of hopefully cleaning up. Adrian autos as Altec actually rendered early, so I blame Altec for that support kill secure. 4-0-7 Thresh.
Yep. And actually, the Knights of Al contributed 76 health to Shrimp from the Altec autos. He would have lived regardless, but worth noting, I checked the tooltip. He got 76 health out of that one. 78. I was off by 2, close enough.
Is that accurate, though? It says it redirected 0 damage.
Yeah, Altec didn't take any damage yet.
He took no damage that fight.
No one touched him.
That's the right kind of fight for an
Or he was
carry.
out of range when he did. So
yeah.
Getting free healing feels good when you're Nunu. You can just get more out of it. Gonna go for some more armor, maybe a Frozen Heart, or maybe it's gonna be the big Gargoyle Stone Plate. We'll see what it comes to be.
Yeah, one of the more underrated things about Nunu is actually how good he is with that mastery, who I always have the name messed up because the icon's the same as Bond of Stone. Stoneborn Pact, because the healing on it in this stage in the game when you're around a 3,000 health Nunu is sometimes greater than the healing you get from Blade of the Ruined King, unless he's actually hitting like on cooldown with some Hurricane blocks proccing. So he's keeping him so much healthier just by having a slow on someone that Altec is hitting.
Yeah, and auto attack going to be like a couple 100 HP in some situations here onto this one.
The objective control is huge here. So they got spotted out, but I wonder if they even pull off.
Can you against Nunu plus Ren? It's probably the hardest single duo in the game to steal away from.
And
2000 HP, it's not even going to be close. Quick, Ren picks it up. There's Baron for Team Dignitas, and look at that. Fate's Call is going to keep Adrian completely safe. He's going to lantern for good measure. He's going to be just fine with that one. A great Baron secure on spawn by Team Dignitas.
Very smart 20-minute Baron. Darshan trying to get work done in that bottom lane. Does not have the Frozen Mallet yet, so Someday is able to neutralize him. And then they run away as they should have. Now they will look to set up a play.
Yeah, we're going to keep going on this one. I mean, they are so far ahead now, 7,000 gold up at the 21-minute mark. This is a massive, massive, substantial lead. And mathematically, as far as like, we'll talk about stats because why not? As far as like chance to win a game, an Infernal Drake's worth close to 2,000 gold as far as predicting who wins the game, and a Mountain Drake's worth like 700. So pretend the gold lead is like 11,000 without Drakes, and it's like, wow, that game would be over. So Dignitas are incredibly far ahead at this point.
Yeah, you always have to factor in as well how many people can use the Infernal Drake buff, and in this game, Kalista doesn't build very much AD, Keen doesn't build very much AP.
Just a lot of, it does multiply her base AD though, so I think it's actually pretty reasonable multiplier for her. But you're right, I guess here we go. Big part of it either way, he's gonna get shut down, and at least one kill is picked up. Adrian goes down, Fate's Call was still on cooldown. CLG hoping to make a comeback happen. Now in a 5v4-6, they still waiting to join the team as the Renekton of Someday pushes down the mid lane. And Lodge Gaming have a lot of scraps to put back together here. Still against this Baron buff as Darshan hits Mega Gnar. Dark Binding's gonna find a 3,000 health Nunu.
Yeah, Dig kind of want to fight this 4v5. You can tell they have a big enough gold lead. They do not want to waste their Baron, and Renekton is taking the angle for the fight. Shrimp.
He's gonna be the playing.
Gonna get a snowball off, you'd think. Doesn't cast it before Gnarl hits.
Yeah, Mega Gnar is going to only knock back the Nunu, and the Dark Binding failed to hit Someday, but either way, Team Dignitas were zoned away enough that there was no chase to be had. Adrian respawns. Dignitas are back to 5. They almost find Keen. They're gonna find a bit of CC, but he's just simply got a bit too much support, and CLG cannot chase him down.
Next minion wave would be a timing for them to do a little bit of pushing. Altec hoping to find a fight. Actually has Someday going over to the other wave, so trying to slow push this a little bit. You think CLG would have tried and fend this wave, but they're actually backing away because there's a big wave top lane as well, so trying to get ahead of this turret cascade. The Dig might be building up. Just gonna keep pushing, because there's no Trist.
Yeah, no Trist on him makes it very easy. They're gonna play an after. Big slow is there as well. 2 more autos to shut him down. There's the Ren. The kill is in already. 5v4 now. It's CLG missing the support. Bottom inhibitor gonna die pretty much for sure. The hook gets through. That was pretty good. He should be fine. Yep, play's gonna miss as well. Stun's not gonna do much on Adrian. Either way, he would be safe with Fate's Call. And bot lane inhibitor is gone. And now Dignitas have a new minion wave to walk down into the mid lane. They're gonna shut down even more of Counter Logic Gaming's base. Mid lane inhibitor will be cracked. And Altec really wants to play aggressively. This is a bit of a danger though. Either way, 2 inhibitors down, and Dignitas can walk away completely clean.
Yeah, Team Dignitas just steamroll in there, and it's because CLG pulled Huhi mid lane and Triss top lane when Team Dignitas still had 4 in the bottom lane with Baron and Nunu to just walk up to the turrets. So easily blow through those turrets and extend their lead to now actually 10,000 plus 2 Infernals plus a Mountain.
And they are in a huge spot right now. 10 seconds until the second Mountain Drake respawns as well. They probably don't need it. I'd almost rather say just go push and don't let them farm any more gold, but Dignitas can do almost anything they want to win this one out. Keen's even got Merc Treads and a Banshee's Veil to make sure he can't get picked off. I mean, there's really not a lot of inlets for Counter Logic Gaming. This could very quickly be that 2-0 and in a swift second game for Team Dignitas.
Yeah, Omar God had such a good debut yesterday against Echo Fox, has not had the same influence over this game. Could not get any early ganks off while Shrimp full cleared the jungle and went for Infernal Drake. Still just sitting on those 2 assists 24 minutes in. Altec, 2 Kalista games in a row. Adrian, 2 Thresh games in a row. Their first duo together on Team Dignitas. If that leads to a 2-0 over the #1 team in the North American LCS, what a huge potential swing in the Team Dignitas season.
Absolutely agree. Dignitas going to be back on a winning record for the first time in about 14 calendar days. Looking for the way to make it into this one. That top lane inhibitor, the final major objective before the Nexus is up. Minion waves flooding in from the mid and bottom lanes right now. At some point, Styx will have to move over and clear those, or who he will, one of the two. Still clearing the vision, and Team Dignitas waiting to close.
Yeah, Baron buff is down, so it is just 2 normal waves of super minions that can be cleared by CLG, but the lead is big enough for Team Dignitas, and Shrimp is tanky enough that I think they're going to be willing to dive.
I think so too. We'll see what happens though. Stixxay on 2 items, has the Shiv, has a Last Whisper for a bit of armor pen for something. But he's still got kind of a ways to go till he catches up to killing these big tanks.
Yeah, they're going to wait until they see CLG off. And even Shrimp can just tank a few turret shots. There's now 2 people on CLG trying to power down that. And I would think that Team Dignitas would then tank the turret and hit while that's happening, but it's a bit of a missed opportunity.
Yeah, they don't want to dive the 5v3 with no minions, it looks like. And I guess that's maybe the way you lose the game, is just going way too hard on the dive. They're going to wait 30 seconds and go for it here. Yeah,
dangerous to do against a Gragas because he can always hit you back, but this would be the moment to go.
All right, Root onto Thresh. No trigger pull yet for Counter Logic Gaming. Darshan still Mininar as well, and it's just going to be quick wave clear. He's doing a lot of work on this one, and Team Dignitas maybe a bit gun shy. They really are letting CLG get a lot of this farm and maybe catch up a bit and a bit more. As Stixxay can now afford a Giant Slayer to sell his Doran Shield to get him more tank killing damage. He's got 5 things with the wave is there, going to clear away mid lane.
Yeah, not a huge reason for Team Dignitas to be too hasty. Baron is up in a minute if this doesn't work, but they're moving in once again. Nice stun.
Stun, fine, but he's got Fate's Call available when he wants to pull him in. He will do that now. Omar God takes a hook, goes right back out. Team Dignitas going to say, you know what, we're not going to go too hard. Let's back up and go for the next one. So CLG able to defend the double inhibitor down, able to farm a few hundred extra gold per minute with these minions, because we know Dignitas were not getting anything from the mid and bot wave themselves. So Stixxay has powered up a fair bit.
Yeah, very tough defense, and they do it. This does mean, though, that Team Dignitas now get their second Mountain Drake. Set up a spawn for a 5th one, which will be around 32 minutes. Also prep a nearly indefensible second Baron of the game. So by no means is CLG free from the control of Team Dignitas, but it is still a very, very impressive.
Let's see what comes through. 10,000 apart. Lord Dominic's done, but that's probably not enough for Tristan to turn around these gigantic tanks that Team Dignitas have right now as they grab, as we saw, that second Mountain Drake. And now Baron is alive. A nice little attempt to pick on Altec. Gets some good damage, to be fair. That's actually a pretty good chunk. The Mountain comes in a little bit late, but look at that play. They found Huhi, Locket already burned. They're gonna look for the damage. They will pick him off. Fate's Call was down. So Adrian getting a second death of the game now. CLG looking to find ways to fight back.
That's such a poor engage by Adrian, though, when Altec is taken so low and you have no shockwave on the Orianna. Altec can't re-enter that fight. So it kind of gives a kill over when they needed to be taking full control of the Baron area, buys yet more time for CLG.
And time is what they need to scale back up into this game, get it on the right, get gold to the right people, get levels on the right people. Stixxay level 15, Does have some tank busting. We'll see what comes through as who you saw the amount of damage he could deal to Altec. We even already had cooks over Saturus and Magicus, but here comes the attempt on Baron. 5v4, Adrian dead. Afro wants in, forcing a flash out for 160 on the chase. Wants Keen, can't quite kill him. A flash, or sorry, a blast cone over the wall, both really used by Keen to get away. CLG owning a bit more of this control. Afro wants to find a bind. Oh my god, wants Sale. They find Darshan's got Keen. They got some damage up, but here comes the chase, but the Lantern gonna bring him to safety, and Adrian gonna bring him out for now, but this means that CLG now have control over the Baron pit. They can maybe buy some time, and Keen without flash, without a health bar, maybe means there's no mid laner for Dignitas.
And how aggressive do they want to get? They're still down 9,000 gold, but this is an effect without Orianna, so Dignitas would have to 5v4.
And Orianna's got 11k, so CLG technically are more powerful right now as they go in for this one. Oh my god, losing a lot of health though. He's gonna get shunned down, can't quite die. He's out of range for Ren. He's going back up to the Baron to smite, but he finally gets that kill picked up. Nunu with the big absolute zero. Gonna put CLG's health bars, just that. 3 kills picked up already. 6 gonna drop as well. A triple kill for Altec, and it's only who he left alive. He's running for dear life, but the snowball is there. The attack in, the quadra kill for the new Team Dignitas bot lane starter, and it's just the mid lane to go. Team Dignitas gonna make it the 2-0 over Counter Logic Gaming.
CLG took their small comeback attempt and tried to double down onto a Baron, but it failed miserably there as Altec was able to just run through the fight. These death timers pretty long, 10 seconds on Omar and Aphromoo. Dig gonna go for the win. And
here we go, the minion wave's getting pushed in. Lock it for a shield just to block a couple more turret shots, and here come the Nexus turrets. 2 respawns in, but it's a 5 versus 2, and it's not the damaging members hit that. Shockwave gonna find him. Another kill for Altec, 5 in a row for him now. Now this one, 8-1-5 was overall scoreline. The Nexus to fall next, and Omar God gonna play for the KDAs. He waits for Darshan to respawn, and it doesn't matter. A sub 30-minute victory. Team Dignitas 2-0 with the new lineup over Counter Logic Gaming.
And that is a reason to smile there for Adrian. A team that was on a 4-match losing streak find the match win against the #1 team in the North American LCS. And for Adrian, it's his first match with the team. That's gotta feel good.
That's gotta feel absolutely amazing here. So positive things now from the squad. Smiles and handshakes coming in. You know, looks like Starduck was wrong. This team can certainly play around more than just the top lane. It's more than just Someday. He was probably the least factor in both of these games that the Team Dignitas wins. It was actually the bot lane doing all the work. Altec declared the game the first one. Minus the thought goes to Adrian for the second one. His roams were insane. He gifted first blood over to himself, or over to the mid lane. Had a lot of really sick plays. Some bloopers to be fair, but he was 18 out of 19 to give participation. Only 2 deaths is not too bad either. I mean, really good stuff out of the bot lane.
All Someday had to do was neutralize Gnar, and the rest of Team Dignitas won, which has not been something that Team Dignitas has done well this split. And it's so important for them as well to do this against CLG, because that's the hardest team technically on their schedule towards the second half of the split here. Still going to be a lot of teams they have to take down, but they were right on the edge of playoffs here. You see Rift Rivals, you see Phoenix One winning some games. You're wondering if they're going to be making a surge. What's going to happen as well, and Team Dignitas was in 5th, tied with Envy, moving up to 6 wins against CLG here. So critical for their long-term success.
Absolutely agree. Alone currently in 5th place. They're over Team Envy right now. 6-5 with 7 to play, and if they can play like this, I mean, sky's the limit. And Dignitas is so weird because you're like, ooh, at the beginning split, wow, they're so good. They're 5-1. Ooh, is this like a top 3 team? And then they come plummeting down. Then do it again. Oh, are they a top 3 team? And you know, you kind of wonder how far this really goes either way. Were they just on the far right side of the bell curve where they had their best game of the split and it's all downhill from here? Or is this indicative of their new form? Will Altec and Adrian keep laning like this? Will they keep crushing?
Yeah, I mean, we have seen now 2 games of Altec and Adrian, and they were on the same champions both times. Callista Thresh, one of the strongest lanes you can have in the game right now as long as Caitlyn is banned.
Yes.
So they're not going to get that every game.
I agree.
And they're going to need to be able to continue that success. It's just got to be really hopeful for them, because you mentioned that one thing about Team Dignitas and whether or not, like, why our perceptions of them is so strange. Right? And it's because when they win, they look really good winning.
Yeah.
But then they just haven't been able to maintain that form, and they found it again today.
Yeah, high variance team, because their losses look really terrible. And you're like, oh my god, this is a terrible team. Of course it's going to fall apart. But then they do this again. So we'll see what kind of Dignitas we get tomorrow. Either way, for more on that win, let's check in with Kobe and Team Dignitas' new starting support.
Thank you, Freak. Yes, we have Adrian here after his first Team Dignitas victory and against the #1 team at that. Now, I have to say, first question is, how long have you actually even been playing scrimmaging with the team?
Actually, I just started last week because they wanted to try something different and like trying to get the best possible roster because we have like an 80 carry, 280 carries and 2 supports. So we're just trying to find the best possible roster. So I actually haven't scrimmed that much.
All right. Well, that substitute, situation is actually pretty curious because you guys just released a post that Chaser has been released. You previously were, had the possibility of switching him and Shrimp out. What is it like? Because they also have, Lot, as you said, and Big for the bottom lane. What's the substitute situation on Team Dignitas? Are they all getting playtime or?
Before, yeah, we were splitting playtime, but like for the past week, it was just only me and Altec playing. So like, because we want to focus on one thing because Dignitas wasn't doing that well previously, but I think we're really strong right now.
Yeah, results definitely speak for themselves. 2-0 versus the top team. Next match that you have coming up is going to be Phoenix 1, though. They have a lot of hype behind them right now, even though I believe they just lost to TSM on the other stream. Coming out of Rift Rivals, they had big performances. Mike Young, how do you feel like you guys are going to stack up versus them?
Yeah, I'm pretty confident in matching up against their bot lane. Like, I think they're going to be really scared because they have like no winning lanes, I guess. I think we're all good.
All right. Well, good luck in that matchup, and congratulations once again. We're going to send it over to the guys at the desk.
Thank you very much, Kobe. Adrian helping Dignitas break their 4-match losing streak coming into this week in his debut with them. And a lot of it in part because of his play on Thresh throughout this series. I mean, he was making the roams happen and helping extend advantages not just to Altec, but to the other laners as well.
I think that's the big thing you have to talk about when you're saying his performance this game, because obviously the two of them performed extremely well, but it was his ability to get into mid lane and start getting, who he held down, because this is traditionally one of CLG's biggest carries, one of their best players, and he gets completely taken apart 2 games in a row with the help of Keen. And here Adrian gets this first roam off, and then after that it's non-stop action out of the bot lane.
Right, Adrian picking up player of the game for his performance on the Thresh this time around, but your point around the focus too in the mid lane, I mean, it was persistent both in game 2 and in game 1, right? We saw Keen doing massive work, getting even a couple solo kills or so on Huhi, and also in the pick and ban phase, there was plenty of focus in on Huhi, so a lot of people targeting him as the member of the #1 squad right now that they want to knock down a peg.
Yeah, you heard Zyrene talking a little bit at the top of the day. It's Darshan and Huhi, the two of them. Well, you can really target one of them if you want to, and they choose to go for Huhi. A lot of bans, a lot of roams at him, and then once they get this lead, like here you see once again Adrian up in the top lane. We saw him in the bot river, coordinating well with the jungler, which is pretty surprising given the fact that they didn't really have a ton of practice time together. You heard him saying in the interview about a week.
Exactly.
And to see them already, matched up pretty well in terms of the going for vision control together is nice to see, and shows that he has a good brain, as Azale would say.
Right, but CLG and teams clearly have not forgotten Adrian and who he is, because we saw, for example, the Soraka ban come through. But I think that they're, to a degree, Adrian's been kind of pigeonholed into this image of a support player that can only play the Janna, the Soraka, those very, very heal supportive shielding champions that aren't currently in the meta. We forget the likes of the Thresh that he can perform on.
He's a little bit of a meta bot, and he'll do exactly what he thinks the team needs to succeed. Back way on tip, season 5, he would play Alistar and Leona because they needed extra engage, because Rush played super aggressive junglers, and Impact was mostly playing that kind of stuff in the top lane as well. So he took on the tanking role. And then on Immortals, they needed someone to help protect Wall Turtle and get him out of the laning phase a little bit more. That's what he did when he was the one who kind of established the range support meta, and that made the rest of North America adapt to him. And here, Thresh is one of the best bot laners right now. He can pick that one up too.
And that alongside the Kalista, as we've seen, be picked up by multiple people so far. We have over in the Phoenix 1 TSM series as well, a lot of priority being placed on Kalista, even first rotation in some cases. That not only helps you with the Thresh combo in terms of having some engage and options in lane, we got to talk about Baron control. Dignitas, when they looked really good in the first few weeks, Jat said it, when they're winning, they look good, and the way in which they were doing it was with that control around Baron. Well, having not only a Kalista, but a Nunu right alongside that, Oh man, how are you ever going to get Baron away from these guys?
Yeah, I mean, you have the 4-minute dragon as well. They obviously had a lot of focus around these kind of neutral objectives, and like you said, it actually aligns very well with what they were doing when they were winning, because they would force these really early Barons on you, 20-minute Barons, and a lot of teams would just not be set up around them, and they would sneak one away. And Kalista plays that perfectly, because if they do spot you out, well, you already have so many Ren stacks on it that there's no smite steal threat.
Right.
It's just about if you're healthy enough to not die on the way out, and with the advantages that they already had this game, it's pretty free.
When you also have the option at any point to turn, right? Again,
Right.
that Fate's Call from Kalista gives her so much room to be flexible around the global objective. Yes, as you mentioned, do we want to sit here, keep pumping the Ren stacks in, and get the secure with a new consume smite Ren stack? I mean, you could nuke it down from like 3 to 4K, or you Fate's Call, throw the Thresh in when they come to contest, and you just take the team fight. We had the final fight of this game kind of develop around the Baron River. Quadra kill going over to Kalista here as well.
CLG was very desperate there on the back foot. They already had basically their entire base taken down once. All their inhibs are up. They chunk out the Orianna, so they try and force the Baron. But Dignitas moves in to contest it. You see Someday going in there just frontlining, taking a lot of damage, buying space for Altec and Adrian to get in there and actually start cleaning up these kills. And after that triple kill, it's an easy chase down onto Huki, picking up the Quadra. Someone, somewhere, stole that other one for the Penta.
Yeah, it was very clearly a desperation play from CLG there, thinking that, hey, we either need the Baron or we need the fight in order to get back into this one. They get the fight, they don't win it, and unfortunately that spells the end for our #1 team. So they're going to end their week 1-1, moving to 9-3 overall. What would be your takeaway for CLG here then? Because it does seem like they were exposed a little bit, at least in part, for that mid to jungle duo where people chose to dismantle the Huhi side of it.
I think sometimes we get so caught up in like, oh, this went wrong for them, and it's you try and look for a pattern when it's really not there. I mean, just off this one series, I would say Huhi had a bad day. And that can happen where, you know, who knows why, but there was a skirmish around Rift Herald where they had forced Dignitas off it, they had secured the Rift Herald, Darshan was going to pick it up, and he just had to back away, and he was getting a little greedy, walked forward, gets CC'd, and dies again for his 3rd time in like the first 15 minutes. Whether it was because of the focus and pick ban phase, or just being a little out of it, or some of the roams getting to him. Either way, Huhi did not have a good day, and I wouldn't quite project it on the rest of the season for CLG.
All right, now what about on the flip side for Dignitas? Again, they've broken this 4-match losing streak. It looked good today in the way that they won. Of course, we're going to have some reservations around whether or not they've returned to form and they're right back in the top half of the standings. But how do you feel about this look for Dignitas? If this was a consistent performance out of them, would you be confident that they're a top 3 team?
Oh yeah, big time, because the thing is, it came from the bot lane here. We talk about Someday for this team being a huge carry, but they often can't rely solely on him, and they always need someone else to step up. And more in the past, it had been Keen, but this time around, coming completely from the bot lane, Altec and Adrian smashed both games in a row, got all over the map, and they got huge leads. The Kalista damage was very high, which is something you don't always see with the champion, much more of a utility focus. So if they can continue to put on good performances with the bot lane, Keen being consistent this time around, and Someday doing Someday things, then you actually have a really good winning formula.
I mean, Altec, Adrian, AA. How can you beat someone in the AA tier if you're only sitting in the A tier?
The Duracell bot lane.
The Duracell bot lane. I like
batteries.
that. We may have just come up with a new name for the Altec and Adrian bot lane. That's not all we have in terms of series in store for you today. Up next, we have FlyQuest taking to the stage versus Team Liquid. Don't go anywhere.